we have here going into our FOMC statement. We're starting off here inside of the dollar, and you can see here from the longer term time frame, zoomed out to the longer term monthly charts, that we have this massive monthly support level. And it's important to note here that it's only the end of the third year and the beginning of the fourth year of a cycle that we have these dollar strength environments. You can see these little ovals here. This is '08. The next one is the end of 2011. This was really the very first crypto winter. Then there's the end of 2014 going into 15. Again, the beginning of the second crypto winter, the end of 2017, when Bitcoin was up at 20,000. And then we had a dollar strength environment. Now, the dollar strength environment affects the indices less than it does the cryptocurrencies, but there's always a little bit of a dollar strength inverse correlation to the broad markets. And at the end of 2018, remember we had the Nightmare Before Christmas. That was Powell's pivot going into the beginning of 2019. We had the end of 2021. What was that? That was a high. That was an incredibly large drawdown in a 12-month period from that January high. And we made a low here in January. Now, the indices have diverged for a short period away from the US dollar. The indices made new highs. The dollar didn't make new lows. Bank ran up into its previous highs. The indices, of course, are supported by the financials rally. The VIX is running right into yesterday, ran into its lows of the year, And we are making a pullback on the dollar into a new support level from the the May 6 lows to highs. We have this little short-term pullback into support. The one thing that is very important to note about today is it's Warsh's first day as the Fed chairman. And there are the potential of massive dissents inside of the Federal Reserve. There is a split, and it's caused by, I would guess blame it on Powell. He stayed on, and he is holding the Federal Reserve hostage because, and he said this at his last press conference, that he would stay on until the charges that were against him were dropped. So what does that mean? It means he's staying on, and he is going to split the Fed until those charges are dropped, so he can go home and enjoy his retirement or whatever he's going to do after this. Of course, the revolving door of government to the corporate sector is going to make him one of the highest paid individuals probably on Wall Street. But that's a whole other subject. Inside of this environment here for dollar strength, we have a short-term weakness, and then the longer term, there's a dollar strength trade that is the dollar wrecking ball. And it can affect everything that has a negative correlation in a negative way. What is a negative correlation? Right now, what has a negative correlation are the indices, the currencies, and the commodities. Everything has a negative correlation. Short-term rally, longer-term downtrend. On the indices, we're dipping into a previous high. And I don't know how this looks to any of you, but this is not a good look. This is not a good look. This stream continues at emoneyaddict.com. The link is in the description. Join me there for tools and resources for learning measured move trading. I wrote the book on the measured move. Check out the hundreds of others that have learned trading plan development, pattern recognition, money management, and trading discipline with me to become the best, most confident trader that you can be.